Welcome to the San Francisco Public Library Commission meeting for June 18th, 2026. The time is 4:30. I'm Margot Schaub, and I serve as the Commission Affairs Analyst. This meeting is being held in person in the main library auditorium, and members of the public can observe the meeting using Zoom by following the link in the library's event calendar or calling 1-877-853-5247 and entering ID number 939-2498-8890. While the city welcomes public comment on its operations at commission meetings, city policies, along with federal, state, and local laws, prohibit discrimination against or harassment of city employees based on race, sex, and other protected categories. Discriminatory or harassing comments, even from third parties, may create a hostile work environment if severe or pervasive. Members of the public who are attending the meeting in person may provide public comment for up to 3 minutes for each discussion, action item on the agenda. Library commissioners in attendance are President Calhoun, Vice President Jones, Commissioners Huang, Lopez, Bolander, and Keniston.
Thank you. Hello, and welcome to the June 18th, 2026 meeting of the San Francisco Public Library Commission. We will start with the Ramaytush Ohlone land acknowledgement. The area now known as San Francisco is the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples of the San Francisco Peninsula. As the original peoples of this land, the Ramaytush Ohlone have never ceded, lost, nor forgotten their responsibilities as caretakers for this place. We recognize that we benefit from living, working, and learning on their traditional homeland. As uninvited guests, we affirm their sovereign rights as First Peoples and wish to pay our respects to the ancestors, elders, and relatives of the Ramaytush community. All materials for this meeting are available on the, all materials for this meeting are available on the Library Commission website or at the back of the room. Today we have a total of 4 agenda items. Item number 1. We turn to general public comment. At this time, members of the public attending in person may address the commission on items of interest within the commission jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. The public can address today's agenda items when that item is called. General public comment is now open.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Speaking as an anonymous citizen, of course, and stop the hate, stop the ignorance. Don't give money to the Friends of the Library. Don't accept money from the Friends of the Library. There is a very common literary conceit to take a real circumstance and put a fictional character into it in order to fully explore the implications. The quintessential example is a Scottish sailor set ashore on a deserted coast, and somebody says, aha, Robinson Crusoe. So let's do that. Let's take a fictional character, appoint him to the Library Commission, and make his very first commission meeting March 2026. Rich with possibilities, right? We need a fictional name since he's a fictional character, so let's call him Josiah Bartlett. Mr. Bartlett has never been to a Library Commission meeting, never even sat in the audience, which is typical. Before he sits down at his first meeting, he is told that the Library Commission that he is joining has been breaking the law for more than a year by illegally limiting public comment in an evident attempt to deter public participation. The first thing that Josiah Bartlett says is, wow, San Francisco has a commission system to assure public participation. That's what they teach you in high school. The second thing he says is, who do we fire? I have a reputation for honesty and integrity. Integrity implies accountability. Nothing says accountability like firing someone. Besides, if someone led us into this, they really deserve to be fired. Next, we have to honor the person who blew the whistle and got this fixed. Most importantly, we have to apologize to the citizens whose rights were affected, assure them they have our deepest regrets and that it won't happen again. The city librarian comes to him and says, we're not going to do that. We undercut those laws completely because they promote democracy and reason. The city's librarian says, well, we undercut reason because we're the elite. And if they acknowledge reason at all, we won't be the elite. The intelligent will be the elite. Josiah Bartlett says, wait a minute, if we are against democracy and we're against reason, aren't the advocates of reason and democracy our enemies? And the city librarian says, aha, welcome to the Library Commission. Well, Josiah Bartlett says, I'm profoundly against this, but it's going to take me a few minutes to organize my thoughts. Perhaps we'll hear what he thinks in July.
Yes, my name is Concerned Whistleblower. I'm here to address the commission, Michael Lambert, and anybody else here in the room. I'm reporting on constitutional racketeering initiated by individual agents, unknown agents within the library here in San Francisco. I'm reporting the no trespassing signage that's put in windows all across the city. This in particular is, I guess, 1833 Page, the historic library near the in the Haight District. This template that's filled out where you put the library's address on it, or whichever library around the city that they're corruptly trying to oppress people for exercising rights on, the public property of, where you fill out the address line, it says in parentheses, private property. At what point are we now privatizing the property that's paid for by public funds? And if I last checked, those are areas that are open to and funded by the public, and those are not areas that are expressly prohibited. And I myself got arrested for Municipal Code 25 for sitting on a sidewalk. I got sent to the emergency room. And I came to the library one morning before it opened, and I wanted to do some work, research, emails. I'm litigating. I'm filing lawsuits here soon, some really big ones. And to my amazement, 7 days a week for 23 hours and 59 minutes out of the day, I'm prohibited from sitting on the sidewalk sitting on the property of the library, the steps of the library. Anything connected to library property, you guys are corruptly making sure that law enforcement can come and whisk me away and give me an unconstitutional retaliatory trespass charge for the exercise of protected rights on public property. And from somebody who's had their tail beaten after an arrest and sent to the ER for just sitting on a sidewalk in public, this is blasphemy. And this is a blatant conspiracy against rights. This is racketeering over the exercise of rights that would openly solicit law enforcement to come and retaliate against people for just sitting on the property steps. At what point do you guys understand what overreaching is? But we know that the agenda here is the common modus operandi of rights erosions. So if you don't know, by prohibiting access at certain times of day, it just keeps less traffic down. Whether you're homeless or not, this is going to target everybody. And this is a liability and a lawsuit incoming.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Christy Esperanza. I'm a board member with the San Francisco Public Library, the Friends of the San Francisco Public Library. We wanted to start by thanking the library staff, the city librarian Michael Lambert, Maureen Singleton, and Mike Fernandez for their leadership and partnership in bringing forward the Accept and Expend for the Chinatown Branch renovation project to the Board of Supervisors. This authorization enables Friends to provide $1.5 million in support of the branch renovation project and represents an important milestone in bringing this to life. We're grateful to the Budget and Appropriations Committee for advancing this item and are excited to continue our fundraising for this important community investment. Speaking of Chinatown, I had the opportunity to attend the Chinatown branch open house this past weekend. The branch was alive with performances, children and families. There were visits from the San Francisco Symphony. They had a beautiful performance, and there were renderings of the Chinatown branch renovation. Friends had a wonderful time tabling and connecting with community members. It was really inspiring what the renovation will mean for future generations of Chinatown residents. We're also coming off a tremendously successful book sale block party, which was a record-breaking day for both sales and attendance. At the event, there were thousands of book lovers and library supporters who joined us. And we are especially excited to be joined by the Bookmobile. It was wonderful to see people signing up for library cards and connecting directly with library services. It was really amazing just to feel the impact in the community. Last Friends has launched a new collection of merch that's inspired by the new murals outside of our offices. It's created by San Francisco artist Angela Chu. You can check it out at sfplstore.com. And just want to close by thanking you, commissioners, and thanking the library staff who really made this work possible.
Can this be tightened somehow? Peter Warfield, Executive Director, Library Users Association, Library Users 2004 at yahoo.com. Sorry, Library Users 2004 at protonmail.com and P.O. Box 170544, San Francisco, California 94117-0544. For some time, I have urged the library not to uncritically tout and encourage use of social media. And I have quoted Frances Haugen for some years, every month at public library commission meetings, an insider at Facebook who, to put it politely, said that Facebook prioritizes profits over safety. You've managed to ignore and not have any discussion about that. You have continued to uncritically tout this. And frankly, for example, in your At the Library monthly magazine, and frankly, in your educational programming. Now another country is banning access to social media for those under 16 because of the serious harms that it has found to be present and from public opinion. Prime Minister Keir Starmer from United Kingdom. That's something that needs to be considered seriously by the library. You like to talk about being a safe place, especially for kids. It's not safe just from an uncritical touting of social media, including Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and some of the others. Another issue I've had with the library is the old slogan of free and equal access. You have a lot of funding and you have a lot of programming. How about providing basic, simple access to being able to hear a library commission meeting on a computer in the library without having to have brought your own earphone or headphone? How about being able to read something that's on a Kindle when you don't have a Kindle and that's the only version of a book that's available? You used to have record playing and video watching at the library. Why can't a person read a Kindle book if that's all that's available, or even the only way in which that title is at the library? There are a whole range of other ways in which you have discriminatory access for those who don't have the gear or the connection, etc. Free and equal was a great slogan. It certainly should continue, at least as a background principle of operation. Please discuss. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment?
Okay, Jason Gibbs, retired librarian. My return to participating at Library Commission meetings has lasted a little over a year now. My former colleagues have been encouraging me to continue doing this so I can speak for them. Today's commission is different from that of 30 years ago. That commission conducted business, held committee meetings, passed numbered resolutions. It was a substantive body. The current purpose of commission meetings is to polish an apple, the frankly delicious and beautiful apple that is the library. The city librarian has restructured library priorities to assemble a cadre of apple shiners to dazzle you. Public comment is your opportunity to ignore what's not going right beneath that shine. Your May 2026 meeting included an impressive presentation on staff appreciation and recognition. I was stupefied to learn how much library administration values the library's employees and how appreciated library employees feel. Nothing like the library I worked for last year. I later spoke with staff at the main and branches and asked them about this sudden turnaround of staff morale. You may be shocked to learn that they full-throatedly contradicted what we heard at last month's meeting. Do all of you know the Peanuts comic strip? One of the constant tropes is Lucy offering to place the football so that Charlie Brown can kick a field goal. He has grown wise to the fact that she's going to take the football away at the last minute. He knows he's going to end up flat on his back. Welcome to the experience of the ambassadors for the San Francisco Public Library Strategic Plan. Several ambassadors told me about their first meeting with the Gensler crew. It was quite contentious. They know about Lucy and Charlie Brown and expected that they would be asked to devote a good deal of time and thought into this exercise and find their contributions ignored in the final product. They were told that wouldn't be so, but they were right. It's a very old management trick. Invite staff participation to present a notion of consensus and then take the project in the direction that they had intended to from the start. Throughout, ambassadors were concerned mostly about safety and professional growth for staff. One ambassador tried to put it generously. The final plan translated the work of the library into balderdash. Circulating books is resource providing, answering questions is thoughtful navigation. The resulting plan had nothing to do with anything they suggested. It became apparent that their role was to rubber stamp the city librarian's pre-established goals. Lucy snatched away the football again. The leadership of the library can set any strategic priorities they like. They have done so. They don't even need your vote. It's going to take a lot of training to convince staff to believe in those priorities, but the library disbanded the training committee and the reference committee and the collections committee. Thoughtful navigation, anyone. I've observed that the current library commission is a powerless entity. The commissions of old actually managed the city librarian, went into closed session to conduct an annual appraisal. But you are here to shine the apple, and you do it well. But you love data and surveys. I challenge the library to survey the staff on their morale, their safety, opportunities for growth, and on their opinion of the strategic plan and the city librarian. The results may not show.
Is there any additional public comment?
Thank you, Margot. My name is Ruben, and I'm a union officer and frontline worker. And there are a few items I wanted to bring up. I noticed a change in the order of the agenda topics last meeting, with draft minutes being put at the end of the meeting. Why the change? Maybe you can discuss when we discuss this part and find out why it was moved to the end. Regarding the capital project presentation in May and the discussion of Ocean View Branch, I believe it was important to list the Orizaba Way location prior to the meeting under evaluating opportunities. I believe it deserved a mention on the list for no other reason than getting clarification on a project that had been discussed broadly with the public. Don't our patrons deserve to be told where things are in the process? But more pointedly, I think it's important going forward, where are we with the current location, so we get more feedback on that piece. Where are we with the use of a slur in this form? We had a variety of us come up and speak to it. Will some clarification be given on such language, on how such language will be addressed in future meetings? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment? Hearing and seeing no further requests for public comment, general public comment is now closed. And we turn to item number 2, discussion of Summer Stride. And I turn it to City Librarian Lambert.
Thank you, President Calhoun, and good evening, Library Commissioners. Every year, the San Francisco Public Library delivers our annual summer learning signature program, Summer Stride, to address the summer slide that occurs when school lets out and school-aged children are home for the summer. San Francisco Public Library curates an incredible slate of hundreds of STEM programs for youth and families, as well as other enriching activities for all ages. It's become a staple of summertime fun in San Francisco. Ileana Pulu is our Youth Services Manager, and she's here this evening to give us an overview of Summer Stride 2026. Ileana, take it away.
Thank you, Michael. Good afternoon, good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm pleased to share an overview of Summer Stride, our largest all-ages literacy campaign. Each year, Summer Stride invites our city to read, learn, and explore together, and we are proud to serve as an active third space for our diverse communities. We continue to seek out new opportunities, to always be improving, and to refine our offerings so that every neighborhood has access to meaningful, engaging experiences. Today, I'll walk you through this year's program highlights, our partnerships, and the potential impact we're seeing across San Francisco as Summer Stride grows and evolves. Next slide, please. Summer Stride kicked off June 1st and goes through August 31st. Our learning goal is simple and effective. Spend 20 hours reading, learning, listening, and visiting the library. These options offer a low barrier entry into library usage that increases accessibility for how people take in information. Participants have options. They can use the game board-like activity tracker or the Choose Your Own Adventure bingo-like tracker. Picking up on our momentum from last year, we've brought back challenges for adults, and honestly, anybody who wants to participate, if a teen wants to do it or if a child wants to do it. That include try a new recipe from a library cookbook, read a book from a library display, attend a library program. When participants complete their hours, they earn their tote bag, the hottest free tote bag that you see throughout the city at parks, on public transportation, farmers markets, local pools, and more. Perhaps hotter than the Trader Joe's tote, because you have to buy that one, according to Instagram. And you know, you have to earn it, right? So just sharing it out. I'm sure people have seen it. Finally, we have a limited edition secret super reader prize for those that continue reading and make it to 40 hours this summer. It's different. There's no picture because it's a secret. That prize will be unveiled and available to pick up during National Summer Learning Week that starts July 6th while supplies last. So everybody heard it here. Make sure you go do that. Next slide, please. Here are images of the activity tracker, our adult summer challenge and guide that includes helpful directions, and the curated SFUSD summer reading list in collaboration with SFUSD teacher librarians and our youth book selectors. Next slide, please. We have it all. We have pencils and stickers for outreach. We have multilingual bookmarks featuring iconic San Francisco spaces. Each branch also uses prize wheels and raffles to draw attention. We prioritize experiences with our raffles to encourage everyone in the city to come into the library and get out and about this summer. Next slide, please. It wouldn't be summer without beautiful art that blankets the city. You'll see these posters on Muni bus shelters, the buses themselves, and also featured on library banners. Make sure that you snap a pic if you can catch one. We love seeing them around town. Next slide, please. And we are elated to work with Nidhi Chanani, who created this beautiful artwork. In our first year as an open call to children's book illustrators for a Summer Stride artist, we were truly inspired by Nidhi's commitment to youth, storytelling, and community. Nidhi Chanani is an illustrator, author, and proud creator of joy, from daily drawings to award-winning books like Pashmina and Super Boba Cafe, a SFUSD favorite. Her art blends heart, humor, and a dash of magic. Born in Calcutta, raised in Southern California, and now creating in the San Francisco Bay Area. Nidhi is an active and engaged storyteller. Visitors can see several curated displays featuring Nidhi's artwork at the main Children's Center mezzanine, as well as our staff's creativity at our branches. We have a variety of upcoming public events with Nidhi listed here, and we invite community to come and join the fun. She is amazing. Next slide, please. SFPL is always proud to bring it back to books. This 2026 SFUSD Summer Reading List is only one of the many lists that our staff curate and recommend to readers so they can find a book for them and help SFPL reach 15 million checkouts this year. My daughter and I have pored over the list and have already visited a kind of spooky, not so terrible, but odd island with bat cats, ghosts, and more. And we also learned about a research trip to Antarctica without ever leaving San Francisco. Next slide, please. We have over 700 public events for a variety of audience for all ages, featuring authors, illustrators, performers, animals, musicians, educators, and more. Next slide, please. We welcome hundreds of summer youth volunteers to assist with signing people up for Summer Stride and developing crucial workforce development skills like talking to each other. The main library is a summer lunch site, and volunteers are crucial to helping provide weekday lunch throughout the year throughout the summer to youth here at the main. Youth engaged at library leadership will happen at 11 libraries this summer, where teens earn an hourly wage in partnership with SF YouthWorks, and they also earn an additional $500 deposit into a kindergarten to college or Scholarshare 529 account. Our staff welcome teen into the library as they develop, practice, and refine those skills. Next slide, please. There truly is something for everyone with Summer Stride, and we're extremely grateful for our partners who we work with to identify opportunities. Our Parks Conservancy shuttle field trips at select locations bring library and nature together. STEM activities plus SF MoMA art kits bring in additive elements for youth and families. This year, as part of SF Children in Nature, which is a cross-sector collaborative that works to ensure children and youth growing up in the city have the same opportunities to play, learn, and grow in nature, libraries are pickup locations for the SF Nature Maps that were a little bit inspired by our own SFPL Explorer maps with stickers and activities throughout the city. Next slide, please. On June 5th, we hosted a Summer Stride kickoff for staff. We hosted it here at the main library, and all of our staff were invited, where the illustrator Nidhi Chanani came to share a bit about her inspiration and vision. This year, we modeled in-house activities staff can take to their locations that can be perfect for all ages. Staff have a chance to connect with each other in person and chat about upcoming Summer Stride-related elements at their location. Next slide. The first weekend of June is our annual Shine Weekend, where staff unveil Summer Stride teas, the beautiful displays, and get everyone excited to sign up for summer. This year, a few final open houses coincided with our Shine Weekend, giving an extra festive feel. We're currently at 10,875 signups as of this morning. We know the summer was a bit unique with SFUSD's school year being extended, and we'll continue to monitor our engagement throughout the remainder of the summer. We also received some numbers from our weekly What's On e-newsletter that goes out to our SFPL email subscribers on June 1st that shows high interest in Summer Stride. We shared a piece from the San Francisco Examiner, and that article got over 2,200 clicks. Our Summer Stride landing page got over 1,300 clicks. Our events page and website, over 900, and Needy's website, also over 900 clicks. For reference, we end up seeing about 300 to 600 clicks regularly, with some outliers seeing more. So it was really exciting to see the sustained interest with 7 unique links on Summer Stride. Next slide, please. Summer Stride is our biggest campaign of the year, and it's only possible with our hardworking staff and fantastic partners like the Friends of the San Francisco Public Library. We really, really appreciate all the time that staff put in to make summer happen throughout the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership, Ileana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now open public comment on this item. As a reminder, please limit your public comment to this specific agenda item. Public comment is now open.
Peter Warfield, Executive Director, Library Users Association. Library Users 2004 at protonmail.com and P.O. Box 170544, San Francisco, California, 94117-0544. Well, I'm always glad to hear about library programs in any level of detail, and particularly something that's encouraging reading. I would like to say that I have, on occasion, and I haven't made a study of it, I'm a little concerned about the emphasis that seems to be growing, the merch, reading for some other purpose. Oh, I can get a this, I can get a that, I can get a bag, I can get a prize. I don't go to the library, and most of the people that I know who go to the library don't go there to get merch or a prize. It's the intrinsic value of what the library has, the intrinsic value of a book, where you can learn something or enjoy something or appreciate something, whatever your reason. Books are an intrinsic and on their own very valuable item for use by people who, most of whom certainly in this library and generally wouldn't be getting merch in order to do the reading that they're doing. I think this is worth at least studying a little bit. I am glad to see that some of the program involves talking about what you've learned or what you've gained and so on. That seems to me certainly something that's the outcome of reading a book, not having put a certain amount of time in and now I can go grab my merch. There's another thing with respect to free and equal access. I hear that there's going to be email for email subscribers. Well, what about the folks that don't have the gear? What about the folks that don't have the know-how? What about the folks that don't have the connection? Most of the two of those three cost money and more than that. How about at least mitigating? And I'm talking about this, but I'm also talking about other ways in which the library communicates to its users, to its cardholders. And that is when I hear about weekly, for example, information coming from libraries to members of the public. You could at least mitigate that. I'm not saying you have to mail everybody the same thing, although that would be great. It's a rich library. How about mitigating the exclusion by having a bulletin board or some other way where people can actually read what was sent to those who have the access and use it? Thank you.
I really like the tote bag because the message is clear, read. But I'm a little puzzled that the learning goal, or actually it is a learning goal as opposed to a reading goal. It's just all the combined ways that it's possible to get this instead of just reading, the learning, listening, library time. I just think it should really be about the reading. Thank you.
Is there any
Wonderful presentation, Ileana. There's so much there. There's so much wonderful things our workers do, all our staffs do, because we learned about the summer dip, that when the school year gets out, the propensity to dip, and there we jump in happily, readily to serve our patrons, to provide the presentation that Ileana so skillfully shared with us all. I think one of the commensurate challenges is the staffing levels to meet the demand. I've come and spoken before, but at this point I just wanted to dig in a little that to meet all the needs for our patrons requires, happily, like I said, providing the service, but one of the challenges is enough staffing, being provided the extra hours to staff. The programming, all the other pieces that go into it, it's just something for you all to consider when you're looking at what a wonderful service we provide and happily do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment? Hearing and seeing no further requests for public comment. Public comment is now closed, and we move to commission discussion on item number 2. Colleagues. Commissioner Lopez.
Thank you, Elena, for your report. A couple things. Summer Strike has been one of the programs that has inspired and that I always look forward. I appreciate the fact that we consider second language learners all the time, and that's always have been like one of the key components of Summer Strike. I also, besides the wonderful artists that you always bring, year after year, that the programming is accessible to everyone, and we constantly hear reports that kids are not reading, and that the loss, the joy of reading, it's a competitive factor with social media, and so everything that the library is doing in terms of, encouraging, bringing that back and supporting them and supporting the families. It's something that, it's a huge thing that the library is doing. And what I really appreciate too is that it complements what the students are doing at the San Francisco Unified Schools as well. So it's not a partnership that we just come out with books. It's in conjunction with what the students will be reading, what the students will be learning about. So those partnerships, only benefits the families. And so I don't have any questions because I think that the program is amazing, and the offering of all the readings, all the age appropriate, language appropriate selections and books, it's just outstanding. I always commend all the people that work on Summer Strike and the staff. It's becoming a trend, not just, for San Franciscans, but I still see people using their bags from 4 years ago, when they start giving the bags. They use it to pick up books when they come and go to the different libraries and carry the books. And so, and the message, like Ruben said, the message is pretty clear, just read. And anything that we can do to continue encouraging not just kids, but adults too, to read, I think that we're doing our job. So thank you.
Commissioner Kinnison.
Thank you, Ileana. Summer Strat is one of my favorite programs, in part because of all the work that happens behind the scenes from a partnering perspective with partners across the city, including Friends of the San Francisco Public Library and Presidio Trust and many others. Personally, I am fascinated by secret societies. I love the secret menu at In-N-Out, but it took me about 10 years before I understood that it existed after I lived here. How do participants know about the 40-hour secret prize?
Yeah, good question. We knew that that was going to happen, right? So we embedded it, and we've had discussions about it. And our summer youth volunteers and our staff received training to encourage people to continue reading after they finish their initial tote. So just they come in, they finish, yay, congratulations, here's your tote. Continue reading because there's something coming. And it's a super secret reader prize, July 6th, National Summer Learning Week. So our staff and our volunteers have been trained to continue to say that, and then there'll be some marketing, that promotion that goes out. Because we love a secret too, but we also want to share it, and we want to make sure that they know it, because it's really cool. Can't wait till you guys see it. Not gonna give it, but you thought you were gonna get it, but you're not. Thank you.
I have a quick question. How, as a program, do you measure success? Is it signups? Is it engagement? Is it engagement at certain age levels or grade levels? Like, what does success look like year over year, and how do you measure it?
Yeah, good question. I think for us, we take in data, the data that we can take. So we have our signups and we have our finishers. We also take in our raffle data. So we're not taking people's information, but we're just taking the number of raffles that came in at every location. So we're also seeing how many people pick up those raffle prizes that go out. So year after year, we start to see kind of what that trend looks like. And data for us, and success is measured in different ways. If we see any increases in finishing and signups, wonderful. If we see increases in those raffles and in our teen programs and our summer youth volunteers, we're excited about that. We're also excited about the anecdotes and hearing all the adults saying, we're really excited about this activity challenge. I haven't seen this before. Or we have never seen a multilingual tracker, something that is available at a glance in English, Spanish, and Chinese, that we can take home and we don't need some kind of translation method for. So anecdotes as well. I think that we're still working on figuring out metrics, and no library that we've benchmarked with has figured out how to get the things that we want just yet, but we're working towards it. So at this point, it's signups, finishers, and then participation throughout the summer.
And then, that makes a lot of sense. And then going into this season of Summer Strike, do you set goals as a team? Like, we want to see 5% more finishers and 2% more, or 5% more. Like, how do you go in with goals, or do you just go in with excitement?
I think we go in with a little bit of both.
Okay.
So kind of to the point of making sure that it's sustainable for our staff, we do have discussion with leadership in our different public service division around what is something that staff can do at that point. And we always try to incrementally increase, but at a sustainable level. So that's in terms of programming. In terms of making sure that there's goals for finishing, it can vary widely depending on location. Because we have small, medium, and large branches, we've tried many years ago, pre-pandemic, to like kind of, not competition, but like who can increase the most. And we could see that that's not telling the full story of what's actually happening. So if a location has 20 signups, that could be a 200% increase for that location because they had 0 before. And that's wonderful. But a location like Ortega or Richmond or something like that, 20 is like a slow day, a slow hour where nobody's there. You know what I mean? So trying to figure out what that perfect secret sauce is hasn't been discovered yet. So we're definitely working towards figuring out the opportunity to be able to say, this is success, these are the goals, and we want to make sure that it's sustainable and that it's achievable for us as a staff system. Because we're planning summer throughout the year. So it starts in September, honestly, and it goes all the way till May, and then June we kick off. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of like, we're so excited, let's do this. And also, let's look at where we were last year. Let's see what has changed in our landscape, and let's see how we can improve.
Is there any, sorry, is my last question, is there anything about your team is able to drive kind of, like, I don't know how many, whether it's emails get sent out or paper printouts we have of our of this booklet, like do we set goals for ourselves that way to almost increase? Because let's just say we only printed 1,000.
Yeah.
So then, okay, only 1,000 kids are gonna sign up versus if we printed 5,000.
Yeah.
Then we'd get 5,000. Like, is there anything around you guys are also thinking about the collateral as part of how we're driving the growth in this work? Because I think that it is unbelievable, and I echo everyone's sentiment here around, like, this is probably one of the most foundational programs that we have, I think, across the year. And I'm just wondering what we're doing to drive more awareness of it. And there's a little bit of us owning that through whether it's, and being able to measure it through not only goals, but then the how, which is whether it's emails or printouts or whatever. And so I'm just curious, I guess my takeaway or ask of you is to, like, how you guys are trying to kind of put those two pieces together, because I think that we can drive more engagement through our commitment to increased communication of what we're doing, whether that's physical communication or digital communication. So I don't know if it's a question per se, or it's just like a thought bubble for you.
Yeah, and I can respond in that in all the years that I've been a part of Summer Stride and the Summer Steering Committee, we've always had librarians ask, and staff, just not librarians, but library staff ask for collateral earlier so they could get it out to schools earlier, because schools, the last month of school, they're just on cake. That's all they're doing. They're just partying. So let's get it out to them earlier. And this year we were able to do that to a certain extent, also because the school year extended a little bit, but we were able to get them trackers, some bookmarks, so that we do keep track of the collateral numbers that we order, and then the reorders, and then we look at it at the end, how much do we have left over, right? So we're looking at that number too, and we're hoping to drive, but we also don't want to step on the toes of like ANHPI month or Jewish Heritage Month or other celebrations that are happening in April and May, and make sure that we're ready to go when summer starts. So it's a little bit of a dance, but I appreciate that thought bubble, and we'll take it back for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, I'm curious about the SFUSD partnership and what that looks like, and what some of the intention and what some of the hopes are there. How does that work? What's that about?
So many hopes. We love our partners at SFUSD. We have a really, really strong partnership with our teacher librarians that are over there, as well as having the Scholar Card be a part of our just every year process, where every SFUSD student from TK and from ECE all the way through 12th grade has a library card already ready for them to go. So we have a couple of different things, and we're continuing to bud different partnerships as they come, or different avenues, because SFUSD they have a lot going on. So we want to make sure that we're connecting with people that makes a partnership feel strong and solid and reciprocal. We are able to with our collections, have a giveaway book for every SFUSD student from kindergarten through 5th grade with a bookmark that goes directly to youth events, and that is distributed at their schools. There's no barrier. They don't have to come and get it or do anything to show that they want it. They get it there. So we have a couple of different methods that we use, but we're also open to more opportunities as we see them come. We participate in their family announcement bulletin, their OASIS bulletin, that's their internal staffing. We make sure that they get information that way as well. And our librarians are the best, and our library staff, not just librarians, our library staff are the best at getting into community. They're the ones that know the secretaries at the schools, they're the ones that know the teachers, the librarians, everybody who can get in the beacon centers, the after school time. So there's a strong partnership and there's room to grow.
I love that. Thank you. That does feel like really foundational to making this the most impactful project, that partnership with folks who are in the classroom. So thank you for that. Real quick, on page 12, are these the actual things that get handed out to patrons? These are the reading lists.
So these are additional, so no, they're not the giveaway books. This is a curated list that the SFUSD teacher librarians and our youth collectors select, and we purchase more copies of them so that they're ready in the classroom, in our libraries for people to check out. So we have multiple of these, because if you've ever been around a kid, they're gonna say, I need to read a book this summer. I want this one. And then you go in, and then 30 other kids in their class also want that one. But we have this, we have it ready to go so that we have choices, and we also have more copies in the collection. We also have free giveaway books at every branch location, but they're not necessarily these titles.
Got it. So this is more of an internal list.
It's a recommended reading list of our collection.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. My question was going to be the 50% of this is dedicated to things that probably nobody but us understands, which are the call numbers.
Yeah.
So I was just going to sort of wonder about that together. But now that I understand the purpose, it makes a lot more sense to me. So thank you for that. Commissioners, any other comments or questions?
I have a follow-up question to that, because there isn't a column for adults, but you did mention that there's been great interest from adults to also participate alongside their kids in the Summer Stride program. How do I make myself aware of the list for adults? And I'm curious if that is also an opportunity for engagement with our staff and librarians in terms of a curated list.
Yeah. So good question. On our adult tracker, we have a back end where you can draw to your heart's delight, but there's a little QR code that you can get a link to all of our summer adult lists as well. And I think that they're also shared in a variety of ways at locations. But yes, it's not a list, a printed list like our SFUSD ones, but we do have a plethora of lists that our staff curate. Yeah.
Thank you, Ileana. Very helpful. I appreciate it and super excited for this summer. Thank you. We now turn to item number 2. Item number 3. 2 would be fun to do over again, though. I would do that again. It was wonderful. We turn to item number 3, discussion of the city librarian's report. And I'm turning it back over to our city librarian, Mr. Lambert.
Thank you, President Calhoun. We have a number of presentations this evening, and I'm pleased to introduce our first presenter, Dolly Goyle, our Chief of Public Services. She's going to talk about the first ever Bruce Lee Day in the city and county of San Francisco and in the state of California, for that matter. Dolly?
Thank you, Michael, and good evening, commissioners. It's my pleasure to speak to you about our Bruce Lee events at the library. Before we start off, I just want to say this initiative is a result of a multi-year effort to celebrate one of San Francisco's most iconic figures and highlight his legacy as a bridge to build community. Next slide. So I want to start with a personal note. I've lived in San Francisco now for 3 years, officially a week ago. And during this time of learning about the city's rich culture and history, I learned about the impact of Bruce Lee. And he was born here in Chinatown, and because I've been able to work on the Chinatown Library Branch Capital Project, I regularly meet with local leaders and community organizations and have collaborated with the Committee for Better Parks and Recreation in Chinatown, the Charity Cultural Services Center, and the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Celebration Committee and Foundation to really strengthen our support with the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander community. Amidst Chinatown's revitalization, we saw a critical opportunity in this moment to create something of importance and impact for the community. And this is when we started the conversation with the Bruce Lee Foundation to create a library card. Next slide. So we started working with the foundation on a Bruce Lee library card, and we set a target launch date in May 2026 as a part of AANHPI Heritage Month. But serendipitously, Assemblymember Matt Haney was announcing a bill, AB 2455, to officially make May 17th the Bruce Lee Day in California. The bill honors the local icon who changed how the world sees Asian Americans. He popularized martial arts globally and really inspired generation through his philosophies of resilience and self-expression. The main library served as a proud host for this historic statewide announcement that, with little advertising, drew a crowd of over 100 in the atrium on a Wednesday afternoon. Next slide. Part of the launch of the Bruce Lee library card included a special visit from Bruce Lee's daughter, Shannon Lee, to the mix, where she could discuss her books, including the young adult book Breath of a Dragon, which is book 1 of the Breathmark series, and it's co-written by Fonda Lee, no relation to the Bruce Lee family. And following Assemblymember Haney's announcement, Shannon Lee went upstairs to the mix and hosted a group of teens who are both fans of her father and also future writers. She talked about the importance of mental and physical resiliency, which is a recurring theme in her first book, Be Water, My Friend, which is inspired by writings of her father. And then after she previewed book 2 of the Breathmark series, she made sure that every single participant went home with a signed copy of her book, which were generously provided by the Friends of the San Francisco Public Library. Next slide. Sunday was May 17th. So the main library was activated to continue celebrating Bruce Lee. There was programming for all ages, including martial arts demonstrations in the atrium by Hunter Hartwell, who is a student of Troy Dunwood, Legacy Filipino Martial Arts, Doc Phi Wong Martial Arts Center, and Professor Akanichi Hama. In addition, we had mahjong lessons in the Chinese Center, and we screened 2 Bruce Lee films, The Big Boss and Enter the Dragon, here in the Corrette. Next slide. The MCC was fully activated as well with screen printing by the Chinese Historical Society of America's Mobile Art Labs. It was their first time coming inside the building. We also had calligraphy lessons from Jianjin Calligraphy, and we had a nunchuck making craft. Next slide. Because it was May 17th, that is the day we launched our Bruce Lee library card. The community was able to choose from 2 designs, the classic Game of Death yellow jumpsuit Bruce Lee, or Bruce Lee in his beloved home library. And these photos were provided by the Bruce Lee Foundation. This library card was a hit, and we issued over 4,000 in the last month, just of Bruce Lee cards. And there was a lot of social media buzz with fans outside of San Francisco on Reddit trying to figure out how to get their own copy of this card. Next slide. Ultimately, the Bruce Lee library card and the celebrations surrounding it were more than just honoring a global icon. They're about bridging cultures, celebrating and bringing attention to our shared San Francisco history, and empowering our community with the same resilience and knowledge that Bruce Lee championed. By bringing his legacy of both martial arts and the love of learning into the library, we are ensuring that the next generation can continue to be deeply connected to their roots. Thank you.
Thank you, Dolly. I was at the Chinatown branch last night doing an interview with KTVU reporter Amber Lee. I don't know if you caught the 10 o'clock news, but it was about the Chinatown renovation. But she was so excited to sign up for a Bruce Lee library card while she was there doing the story. So there's a lot of buzz about Bruce Lee Day and these library cards. Thank you. All right, next up is Michelle Jeffers, Chief of Community Programs and Partnerships, and she's here to tell us about the upcoming One City Day. Michelle?
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, commissioners. How are you? Good to see you all. I am here to tell you about One City Day. Just to give you a little more information, I've had the good pleasure of serving for the last 6 months on a citywide service steering committee that the First Lady has convened, along with other city departments, aiming to find ways for greater community involvement and activation of our fair city. And it's been a really wonderful learning experience, and I predict that this is going to become an annual event. Next slide, please. So the first initiative to come out of this service steering committee is the One City Day, which will happen throughout San Francisco on Saturday, July 11th. It is the brainchild of First Lady Becca Prouda and her husband, Mayor Lurie, in an effort to build connections among neighbors and strengthen civic pride. So across San Francisco's 11 supervisorial districts, we'll have volunteers of all ages invited to come out and participate in meaningful service projects that might be cleaning up litter and trash, beautifying local parks, or showing up for your neighbors when they need it the most. And at San Francisco Public Library, we volunteered 7 of our library locations to host projects to do a little outdoor cleanup in partnership with our regular partner, Refuse Refuse, doing cleanups at Merced, North Beach, Ortega, Portola, Presidio, Richmond, and Western Addition. All of our projects will take place that day from 10:30 to noon, so if any of you are so inclined, we welcome you to come out there. I do know that we are having volunteers sign up through the portal on One City Day, and we've already filled several of our library branch locations with the capacity of volunteers. But if any of you want to do it, I'll get you in, so don't worry. Next slide. And then we're also supporting the District 4 kickoff, or the Supervisorial District 4. City Librarian Michael Lambert is leading that effort along with Supervisor Alan Wong. Coincidentally, it's at McCoppin Square, which is also the home of the beautiful Parkside Branch Library. So the theme for the District 4 kickoff is appreciating our libraries. And at each district kickoff, a different city official and supervisor are there to launch the volunteers out into their neighborhood community to do greater activities, and all come together at the end around noon, 12:30, for community at a local coffee shop or local restaurant to share in the joy of volunteering in your city. Next slide. As I mentioned, well, some of our locations have already filled up. We're looking forward to just continuing to strengthen our relationship with Refuse Refuse and really build that community muscle at all our libraries. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for serving on the First Ladies Committee and giving us an opportunity to shine.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, our closer today is Maricela Leon Barrera, our Digital Equity Manager, and she's going to tell us about Tech Week, our annual effort to address the digital divide. Maricela?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Maricela Leon Barrera, and I'm the Digital Equity Manager here at the library. I also lead the Bridge at Main, which is our print and digital literacy center located on the 5th floor, and along with that, I coordinate Tech Week every year. Next slide, please. So to give you a little bit of background, the library has coordinated Tech Week since 2017, and it exists as a citywide multi-partner effort to increase digital access, digital literacy, and awareness. The conversation of the digital divide has been going on for a long time now, but it's still alive and well, and it is often illustrated as the three-legged stool of digital inclusion, which requires access to the internet, a working and updated device, and the skill to be able to use it. A digital literate citizen has the understanding, the ability to apply what they know, and the attitude, which is the confidence to do it themselves. Tech Week is a week-long series of events that increases digital competence and confidence. By participating in Tech Week, our participants increase their digital knowledge, build skills, engage in tech in new and interesting ways. Next slide, please. So to reach any goal, we need some objectives. and it's the action, because it's the action that we want to accomplish. For Tech Week, there are 3 primary objectives. We want to address the need by providing instruction. Patrons come to us, especially during Tech Drop-In, when we serve patrons one-to-one, and they have questions like, what is a browser? What is Wi-Fi? And what is that annoying square that pops up when I'm reading? To build skills, we support them in learning how to include, like, for example, Zooming with confidence, navigating a new phone, or making online payments and ensuring it gets to the right person. This question comes up a lot from our patrons. And lastly, exploration. I'd like to call this fun tech. So how do you take a good photo with your phone camera, and that maybe results in a new hobby for them, or learning how to make a 3D print with a 3D printer available here at the bridge, or unleashing their inner mixmaster on a DJ table. Next slide, please. So we have a few Tech Week program types. The first one being the need-based tech, and in this year, we had about 18 programs that fell in that category. We have skill-building tech, which featured 11 programs in that category, and fun tech, which was the 11 programs that you see also reflected here. This year, I felt like we had a very nice balance of programs because almost half of them addressed the need for the tech, and that helped support the other half, which was a quarter each for tech for skill building and tech for fun. When I get asked by partners what they can share during Tech Week, I like to see programs fall into these 3 categories, and I encourage them to do that. Next slide, please. Tech Week by the numbers. You might be curious, how many people do we have come to the library during Tech Week? Well, this year we had 791 participants. We offered 40 programs, which equates 73 hours of tech instruction time. This is only made possible by collaboratively working with our library locations and community partners. The power of partnership really shines during Tech Week. 16 community partners provided 53 of those hours of programming. And the library does shine brighter because of this effort of internal and external collaboration, we're able to make happen not only programming in English, but also offer some programs in Chinese and in Spanish. This slide here also features some monetary values to help illustrate in just one way how much this effort is valuable to us. The numbers here, some are easier to calculate than others, such as the value of 40 Chromebooks that was given away thanks to our partner Tech Exchange at a value of about $2,400. However, when I think about Tech Week and I think about the tech drop-in and the one-on-one service that we provide and the help that people are able to get from people who actually know how to teach this, I did a quick search to see how much is tech support in the city. And on average, I saw that there was a median number of $125 an hour to be able to get tech support in San Francisco. I multiplied that simply by the number of 791 participants, and that equated over $98,000. So that is money that a lot of our patrons cannot afford. They cannot afford that tech support or go to somewhere to be able to learn that, but they can do so at their library. Next slide, please. So having a captive audience, 791 people, is an opportunity to survey what they think. What is Tech Week looks like to them, or do they like it? So we had a little over 10% submit the survey to us after attending a program. The survey was made available both in paper form, in Chinese and in Spanish and in English, and also is available by QR code online. Feelings about Tech Week are overall really positive, and we collected data about what they would like to also see in future programming, because that is something we want to know. This year, we also tried something new. We provided a sticker card to encourage participation, and we had 20 people who attended at least 5 programs during the week, and they did win a prize. Other observations that we made were that we really had the support of volunteers this time, which helped support program delivery. We had 32 hours of support spread across 6 volunteers. And those volunteers would come back again and again to come help the programs. Additional publicity definitely also increased attendance. We have a monthly 3D printing Tinkercad class, and in this month, the attendance for that nearly doubled. And this year featured an Instagram reel to promote Tech Week, envisioned by the public relations team and directed by Pocholo, starring librarian Jim, also known as Agent J in the reel, who almost takes a mallet to fix his computer issue when librarian Sherry saves the day and the computer by telling him about Tech Week. So I hope you followed us on Instagram and maybe caught that one. Next slide, please. So as I near the end, I want to show you some pictures and have you see what the learning in action looks like here at the library. In the Latino room next to the carrette, we had the DJ spinning and showing people how to mix using his table. At the Bridge, the Computer Training Center had Tinkercad Club for 3D printing and the digital clutter class that is also seen here. And in the Learning Studio, we had the workshop that focused on how to make online payments. The top left photo was the Clear the Clutter class in the Computer Training Center. Our Computer Training Center has 19 workstations, and 37 people showed up for that particular class. We made it work, not wanting to turn anybody away, but we can see that is something that is of high interest. And this past month in the June newsletter for the Bridge, we offered more decluttering tips in our tip corner, and we also plan to offer something more like it in the future. Next slide, please. So Tech Week takes a lot of folks, and earlier I spoke about collaboration, and while I might be the one leading the charge for Tech Week, there is a large level of internal collaboration that makes Tech Week happen, and I appreciate each unit and every person in those units for making all the pieces fit together, and that you can see them here. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for listening, and I invite you to join us next year for Tech Week. So perhaps if you know someone who would like to offer a class, volunteer, or attend a program, we're going to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Maricela. And that concludes the city librarian's report.
Thank you very much. We will now open public comment on this item. As a reminder, please limit your public comment to this specific agenda item. Public comment is now open in Correct.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. Speaking as an anonymous citizen, of course, and stop the hate, stop the ignorance. Don't give money to Friends of the Library. Don't accept money from the Friends of the Library. I rise to address this issue of Tech Week with some trepidation because it's such an inherently complex and multifaceted issue. I attended only one of the events. I should begin by saying the presentation that was given to us with data by the numbers is completely different than what was distributed to us from the back of the room. I attended only one of these meetings, and that very fact alone is kind of instructive. I attended one meeting. It was divided pretty much half 50-50 with the outside organization advertising themselves, and the other half was good practices in choosing a password. Now, I think almost everyone who has even the beginnings of digital literacy has been through the implications of how to choose a good password. I hope this leads me into a related topic. I hope you saw yesterday's New York Times. There was an article about how in Great Britain they are passing a law restricting social media to children under 16. And according to the article, 85% of Great Britain's citizens agree with the law. Now, would we consider such a thing, knowing that our society is controlled so much by the people who are lining their pockets, the corporate interests. You know, the point is that there are, at every level, you consider something positive about digital access, there's almost always something related that's negative. And this entire area, it can turn out to be a very dangerous and socially destructive issue. And so, as I say, it's a difficult issue, but I hope you'll keep those points in mind. Thank you.
Peter Warfield, Executive Director, Library Users Association, P.O. Box 170544, San Francisco, California, 94117-0544, and Library Users 2004 at protonmail.com. Thanks for the presentations. I went to well, if we look at what the goals are here, there's nothing about the downsides, the dangers, the bad effects, the frequently mentioned by quite considerably knowledgeable people, the downsides of social media, and not to speak of AI. The Surgeon General of the United States has talked about the dangers of social media to the mental health of particularly teenagers, and others as well who know quite a lot as well. The Prime Minister of Great Britain, Keir Starmer, also talked about how the government had asked people what they're concerned about and got 116,000 communications, as the previous speaker mentioned, 85% of whom were very concerned about the negative aspects of social media. The Tech Week that I attended did not bring up in any serious way the downsides. For example, what if you don't have a strong quote-unquote password? Well, there are scams. There is bullying and threats. There's all kinds of negative things, even worse than what I'm describing, that can happen as a result of your participation in the digital world, and especially, for example, email and basically what Shoshana Zuboff calls the surveillance economy or surveillance capitalism. You might want to read some material and books by Timothy Wu, Karen Howe, and Shoshana Zuboff, just for a start, to get some sense of what some very serious downsides are, including not just, for example, suicide ideation for teenagers, but a step-by-step chat pal was basically in a New York Times article, September, October. They had the communications with the teenager and catered for the specifics of the teenager's environment and gave step-by-step instructions for how to kill himself. And that needs to be something that's discussed also, and the economy, the surveillance economy.
Are there any further public comments? Psych. Okay, one more call. Any additional public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. And we turn it over to commission discussion. Commissioners. Commissioner Huang.
I'll just add one thing in defense of the how to pick a good password topic. I'll just play a game amongst the commissioners for a second. What do we think is the most common password in the world?
Password 123.
Password 123. It's close. It's 123456 is most common. What do you think is the second most common? It's 12345678. And the third most common is what?
10.
Password.
Password.
And these are people with devices who have been around technology, right? So it's a completely valid topic to have a course on that, in my opinion.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'd like to follow up and just for the benefit of the record, Marcella, if you could return and just maybe add a little more context to what actually the digital divide is. What does that mean?
So the digital divide is there's three ways that people look at it, and I showed you the stool, but it has a lot of, it depends on how you look at it, but what we're noticing is that, for example, older adults have been left behind because generationally, when they were, growing up, some of this technology didn't exist. And so when that happens, there's a gap between what is needed to be known, what you need to know in order to be able to be able to do daily things now. Like you can't even apply for an ID anymore without making an online appointment to go to the DMV. A lot of the seniors right now, if they're applying for their Social Security benefits, Social Security offices have closed, so now they have to do this online. The divide is that. What do I need to do to be able to gain something or be able to just live my life, with dignity when I don't have the skills to be able to do that? So that's the divide. Like, I want to be able to do this independently, be able to do my life as I see it with autonomy versus I can't because I need help, because I need to learn the skill. And I'm already past school age. I'm already past, working in a situation where maybe I can learn the skill on a job, and so that's just one example of the divide. Other examples have to do with socioeconomics. In which schools do we teach technology? And there's all sorts of charts of what schools actually get the extras and the enrichment in order to be able to become really successful, and what students don't. So you can look at the divide. There's many, many, many divides. And in order to be able to become successful, you need those three things: reliable access to Wi-Fi to be able to learn it, a device that works, and the knowledge. Those then lead you into being able to be competent and confident, to be able to bridge that divide. So in some ways, it's also a personal divide. So,
Thank you, and you really teed up sort of my follow-up comment or question, which is, should anybody not be ready to make the connection to actually the strategic plan and how the library supports a thriving citizenry and a democracy? Because all of the things you're describing are foundational to fully participating in today's society. We can debate whether or not what the merits and downsides of it are, but if we're going to have people in the city and county of San Francisco fully capable of engaging in this work, to me, this is all of the things we talked about today are very important and very impactful. But I think any work we can do to address these digital divides that exist, that are often traceable to demographics, zip codes, et cetera, this is, to me, really an insightful way of thinking about how the library makes a difference in our city. So I'm especially grateful to the work that you and your team, and I also want to commend you and everyone else who's presented today to take just that little extra moment to acknowledge all the people who make things happen. You didn't in any way suggest that you're doing this alone, and I'm grateful for that. You took a moment to thank all the people who help you deliver this important work.
thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioners. Yes, please.
Maricela, I have a an anecdote of someone, and I want to share it. I was at Xfinity returning something, and there was a lady, elder lady, who wanted a simple phone. And the salesperson was saying, there's no, they're obsolete. You have to get a smartphone. And there was language barriers, and they wanted to sell her a smartphone, and she just wanted a one that it was just simple and everything. And as social as I am, I said, they can help you at the library with the phone, to set up the phone. And she had never visited the main library, and she said that, she lives in my neighborhood, and I ran into her at the bus stop. She came to the library. It took her a while to find it, but someone taught her how to use her phone. And it was like a life-changing for her. But things that we take for granted, well, you were saying that the divide could be in many forms and different changes. And having, a place to go or someone where they can teach them. But most important, understanding where they're coming from and not having the expectation that you should know this by now. I think that I'm pretty sure you have seen that over and over. And so for all the work that your team does and everything, thank you, because it makes a big difference. It changes the life. I think that it should, be advertised as senior centers. Maybe perhaps, or senior groups, because they're the most vulnerable with the technology.
And most likely to be taken advantage of.
Correct. So something that, again, I feel that the work that we're doing, it goes beyond the literacy. It just, it's practical and it's a life-changing. So thank you to your team and everyone that does of this technology. Next question. And this is a question.
Okay.
E-waste. I know it's totally unrelated, but oftentimes people do not know how to dispose of technology. And I know that sometimes it's hard. Do we offer anything with e-waste?
So that's a great question, and it's funny. I'm going to bring it to our partners actually, because the comment about the seniors and where do seniors know about this? We actually partner with a lot of agencies that serve seniors, and so what they can't, they bring to us, and what we can't, we bring to them, and so we have a really nice kind of partnership there. One of our partners will actually take devices that are donated, and they will actually 2 of them, and we'll refurbish them. So there is some, we can look up places that maybe will take e-waste, but ideally we want to be able to contact them and say, hey, if we have a working device that maybe someone could donate to one of them. Tech Exchange and DevMission in particular come in mind, because what they're doing is that they don't only take donations from cities and schools and that are now ready to get rid of their older devices. I don't want to say they're useless devices, they're older devices, and they refurbish them, and part of their model is to actually have workforce development working with youth and teens and young people, teaching them the skills on how to fix those computers and then turning them around, and those are the computers that were given away at Tech Week. So we there is avenues, and when people want to connect about that, we can look things up and see where they can go and safely dispose of it. Because the other issue is that people don't realize that their devices have their personal information in it, and they need to be able to give it to somebody who will reliably wipe them, and be able to be safe in that way. Yeah. So,
Thank you very much. We now turn to item number 4, discussion and possible action to approve our May 21, 2026 Commission meeting minutes. We will now open public comment on this item. As a reminder, please limit your public comment to this specific item. Public comment is now open.
Thank you. Can I get a full 3 minutes here? Apparently not. This is your admission that the approval of the minutes is last, acknowledgement that the minutes are going to become anything other than the outrageous travesty that they've become. Apparently, you've surrendered to total illegality. My comments are completely distorted. After I spoke, Shanna Sherman is listed, and then after that, Ruben Ramirez. I know you think that that's historically impactful, but in fact, Ruben Juarez spoke after Jason Gibbs. Now, if you are admitting that you're just making things up because it fits your program a little better, well, I guess it's as good as anything else. But a priority for honesty and accuracy ought to be the priority. Jason Gibbs talked about the Latino voices that should have been acknowledged. The Library Users Association pointed out that there should have been recognition for staff service to the public. That's completely ignored. I didn't point out a contextual point. My point was that my point was edited out, and that was the justification that there was the Library Commission that owed an apology to those people who were complaining. But not only have you edited out my point in the original comment, you've edited out the point I'm making about explaining how it happened. The most serious thing is that it says I manufactured, there was a controversy about where the citizen surveys are placed. I never said anything like that. That's completely manufactured to create a distraction. In fact, what I said was that I had submitted 4 citizen summaries. And the rhetorical question is, where could they be placed since they're required to be placed, included since they're nowhere? Now, I submitted 3 citizen summaries for these minutes. Are the next minutes are going to mention the fact that I submitted 3 citizen summaries? Apparently not. You've just abandoned decency and legality.
Peter Warfield, Executive Director, Library Users Association, P.O. Box 170544, San Francisco, California, 94117-0544, and Library Users 2004 at protonmail.com. This is a completely new format. There's been no discussion by the Commission or anybody with respect to what this is. I'm assuming this is AI generated. Is that right? Maybe you could answer. There's a lot of material here with 9 pages single-spaced, more or less. There's no indication that there are 7 members of the Library Commission, so when it talks about a vote to approve minutes, there's no indication that 5 is unanimous of those present, but not of the Library Commission. There's also no indication that there was any attempt made to make sure that there was a quorum and take attendance, which is normally the first thing in the minutes, although you don't do it formally as in call to order. There were a number of peculiarities, to put it mildly. The summary of general public comment was interesting to try and jam together what everybody presumably was saying, as though this is some kind of a vote or something. On the second line, it says, a dominant theme was something that I won't go into. Since when are we, what does dominant theme mean? There were quite a few varied issues brought up by a variety of people, including Jason Gibbs, who talked quite a bit about the city librarian planning to get rid of books and was concerned about, in your own minutes, described as calling this a potential new round of book dumping. The summary of all of the public comments doesn't mention that at all. So since when do we have to have a summary of what everybody said? Is just stuff to separate us as a reader from getting to what did people actually say? Or what is your summary of what they have actually said? Okay, I won't go into some other things, but let me say that if I leave something out, I don't intend to negatively comment on what I haven't discussed. When I talk about what was left out, I'm talking about what was left out, not whether I agree or disagree with what's done or said.
I was commenting on the Chinatown renovation. Is there going to be any financial compensation for that? Oh, yeah, I sent you an email.
I think technically that's an item outside of the public comment section of this particular meeting. Perhaps that's something that we can take up outside of the meeting or for the next meeting.
Oh, wasn't it related to the minutes of last time?
That's true.
Happy to be responsive. Could you point specifically to the minutes item that you're inquiring about?
Last May's minute item, Chinatown branch relocation.
I don't believe there's any topic that touches specifically on your question. My recommendation is that we take it up outside of the meeting or in the next meeting.
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the May Commission meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Huang. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones.
I'll take the roll call. Commissioners, please say aye or no when I call your name. President Calhoun.
Aye.
Vice President Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Huang.
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Bolander.
Aye.
Commissioner Keniston.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously. And this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Be the water.